We're delighted to have with us today Evelyn Hinds, who is an author and an actress and someone who loves the Jewish people and who has a delightful ministry of portraying the famous Corrie ten Boom. Now, back a decade or two ago, that was a very famous name, but now I think there's a lot of people who really don't know the story of Corrie ten Boom. Tell us a little bit how you became interested in this subject matter. By the way, she portrays Corrie ten Boom. She's written a book about that famous life, and she has a DVD in which she portrays herself as Corrie ten Boom. So tell us how this all came about.
Well, in 1983 I came to a time in my life where I really had to wave the white flag at God and surrender. And my life, in 1983, I like to say I was a young woman with a lot of problems. And so I didn't know what to do about all the problems I had, but I knew God was there, and I prayed, and I said to him, I don't know what to do anymore. You take my life. I'm going to go your way. If you can do anything with me, fine. If not, fine too. You know, I just knew I wasn't going my way any longer. Mm-hmm. And God began to give me joy. And it was a very sweet time. Even though I still had a lot of problems, I began to have joy. And I started going to church every time the door opened. And one Sunday evening I went, this is 1983, and I saw the movie The Hiding Place. They were playing the movie, and I didn't know anything about Corrie ten Boom. I didn't know that much about the Holocaust, but the movie The Hiding Place was made by the Billy Graham organization in 1975. Well, Corrie died in 1983, that same year that I came to know the Lord. And they were recirculating the movie. So I got to see the movie. And the real Corrie ten Boom comes on at the end of the movie. And I was very drawn by her because she had peace and joy. And it wasn't long after that I found her books. And so I started reading her books, and because I really needed to know how to live the Christian life, and I needed some examples. And she was a great example for me.
Tell us this for the benefit of our viewers who may not remember or been a long time ago since they thought about Corrie ten Boom. What did she do?
Okay. Well, she was a Dutch woman in a family that had a great love for the Jewish people. And when the Nazis invaded Holland, they began to hide the Jewish people in their home.
Didn't the Queen do something to demonstrate that herself?
Well, at one point the Queen had to leave because of the occupation. But this family loved the Jewish people and began to be part of the Dutch underground workers. And they helped hundreds of Jewish people to escape the Nazi death camps, that family alone. And
did they smuggle them out of the country? Did they hide them in homes? How did they do that?
And they would hide them in their home for a while until they could find them a safe place in the country. And then they were all arrested and sent to the concentration camps, and Corrie was one of the only members of her family to survive.
In other words, the people who did the hiding of the Jewish people were persecuted themselves.
Yes.
And wound up in the concentration camps along with the Jews. Mm-hmm.
And Corrie was released, and on a clerical error, and she said, a blunder of man, but a miracle of God. And she knew she had been survived for a purpose, so she spent the rest of her life traveling around the world telling her story. And so what I do is just take stories that she told, and I dress in a costume, in a 1950s type costume, and tell the stories as she did and allow people to know the legacy of this Christian family.
And this is, much of it is contained in Ms. Hinds' book called The Weaving, and you will want to get a copy of that. I'm sure. How is the best way for them to get a copy?
To contact me
Weaving?
through my website.
And what is that website?
The website is evelynhinds.com, and that's Hinds, or CoreyTenboomLive.com.
We'll have a crawler on our
Okay,
screen to
that'd be
help
great.
people know that. Now, you've been to Israel, and Israel has some kind of recognition of Corey ten Boom. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. In 2007, I was able to go to Yad Vashem on Holocaust
Yad
Remembrance.
Vashem is
the museum,
the Holocaust in Israel,
Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And it was the Holocaust Remembrance Day, Yom HaShoah, and I got to go there. My husband and I were able to attend an invitation-only ceremony the night before. We were able to go to the museum and the next day, and they have a lot of testimonies of people who were helped, who survived the Holocaust, and we were able to see one. It was a woman telling the story. She lived in Holland with her, she was Jewish, and her parents were arrested, but she said her mother put her and her sister in the closet, and when the Gestapo came to take them, she came to the closet and said, "Go to the Ten Boom house." And those two girls were able to go to the Ten Boom house and were saved. So it was a great time to see that legacy. She has a tree planted there at that museum.
And there's a plaque, I believe.
Yes.
And that tree is on an avenue. What is it called?
Avenue of the Righteous
And
Gentiles.
she's included in that
She is
distinguished
on
group.
it.
Well, it's a marvelous story and one that needs to be repeated often. And Evelyn Hinds is doing a great job of perpetuating the memory and the work of Corey ten Boom for the Lord and for the Jewish people and for the understanding of what it means never again to have such a Holocaust as they had in Europe. Thank you so much, Evelyn Hinds, for being with us. We
Thank you.
trust that the Lord will continue to bless you in this very interesting ministry.
Thank you.